Hello, viewers. I'm SB, and welcome back to Duskpunk, where things are going swimmingly so far. Belly empty, stress high, health rapidly decreasing. And Redcheck has just asked us to meet him at the Arclight. There's all kinds of other stuff going on around here. I'm not sure how much it benefits us to go to these random events, because it does seem like they're going to be a huge bummer. I will say, I do really appreciate, first of all, just the style of this map overall. I think it looks really nice. But the little motion details, the water actually moving in the rivers, the birds and the smoke and stuff, it really does create an atmosphere. And I think the lack of color really adds to the sort of the I'm gonna say the grimy aesthetic of the text. So far, I'm finding this all very effective. The Arclight, once you find it, is a bar occupying a massive drum-shaped building. Heading inside, you find Redcheck talking to the barwoman. He nods as you approach. Foundling, this is Zai, mistress of the Arclight, and a witch with a wrench. If you ever need a device or a bit of clockwork, she's the body to ask. Zai, this is my foundling. Zai is a towering woman. She looks more engineer than bartender. Outsider, her eyes narrow. Oh, come, woman. Is that any way to greet a new friend? Your friend, not mine. But she does, reluctantly, extend her hand for you to shake. Which I will take. Which hand, I wonder? Because that is quite a prosthetic that she has there. Hopefully there'll be some level of respect here. What with the, I also am a wrench witch. As you shake her hand, your fingers close around cold metal. You look down. Zai's hand is an incredible device of steel and brass. My own work, she smirks. You see why I wanted you to meet. She nods toward your crutch. I see you've joined our ranks. My condolences. I was hoping you and your Maverick friends might help with that. She bristles. We're not crazy, brother. We just keep to ourselves. Ah. For 6 seconds, neither says anything. Finally, Redcheck clears his throat. How many times have I come through for you, Zai? I'm sick of your posturing, priest, she growls. But you have come through for us. She fixes you with a stern stare. I can build you something to help. You won't walk quite like you did, but it's a lot better than hobbling around. Yeah, and what'll that cost me? They say nothing's free in Dredgeport. Ha! After all I've done for the woman. She studies Redcheck before answering. Yeah, I'm just thinking we haven't yet paid that bill. Since it's the Watcher who's asking, there's no cost. But this pays our debt, all right? Fine by me. But I'll need material. Haul me some scrap. I'll see what I can make of it. She glares at Redcheck. I want you to leave now, outsider. I need a word with the priest. I'm going to try to surreptitiously listen by the door. You head through the door, but loiter just outside. An outsider! The racket of the crucible drowns out the conversation. After a while, it subsides, and you hear Redcheck, Was I an outsider once? You still are, you crazy bastard. So I will say, one thing that I don't love is the way that the conversation just kind of rolls forward unprompted. To be clear, I'm not like clicking or pressing any buttons. It just happens, and the image on the left pane adjusts to meet individual lines, but it does so at just kind of whatever pace it feels like. Everybody reads at a different speed, so that's not going to match up real cleanly for probably most people. It's a weird way to approach it, to have the left image change in that way if you're not metering the movement of the text. It seems a bit odd. Okay, so did she tell us how much scrap to bring? Doesn't look like it. Okay, well. 3. I wonder if we will gain extra time once our new prosthetic is fitted or something? Because if we can move more effectively, we should be able to get from place to place faster, right? So we're pretty good at gathering scrap. I think we'll prepare here. 8+, not ideal, but we make it. And let's see how she feels about that. We still gotta, like, actually eat something today. But hopefully this will help. Hopefully this will make us more efficient at doing so. You're not sure how Zai can turn this tangle of iron into a new foot, but it's worth trying. That's the last of it, you gasp, hefting it onto the bar. Yeah, this scrap's decent. Now I just need your measurements. Well, I've lost a bit of weight since I last had them taken. I'm trying to break the ice a little with comedy here. She chuckles. Hey, it worked. Well, I see you only lost a foot, not your sense of humor. She whips out a tailor's tape and measures the stump of your ankle and your lower leg. All right, I can have it finished in a few days. Thank you again. We know why she's helping us, right? Because she made it clear she's paying back some favor to the priest. Oh, don't thank me. Thank the Watcher. Yeah, I am very grateful to him. She rolls her eyes. Look, keep your wits about you. You owe him now, and he's a man of faith. Is that a bad thing? She glowers. It depends what you believe, doesn't it? She sighs. All right, just about done. Your new foot will be ready in a few days. Okay. We gotta go make some money. All right, let's go see what this event is about. Oh, hey, it's that kid. Wandering the slums, you come across the beggar who picked your pocket. They're surrounded by a handful of animals. 2 pigeons peck around their feet. A mouse sits on their shoulder. Another peeks out of the pocket of their shirt. 2 large rats curl around their feet like cats. The beggar nods as you approach. Well, I hope you've had a good fishing since we last saw each other. The animals around the beggar's feet move a little closer. They eye you cautiously. That's quite the circus you have there. Ha! We've been known to turn a few heads, you're not wrong. Suddenly, the urchin vaults up off the wall and sticks their hand out. The pigeons dart out of the way, but quickly resume their shuffling. I'm Frey, they grin. I am disinclined to allow this child to touch me. Ah, what the hell. Pleased to meet you, and shake. You shake Frey's hand. They snort. My, how polite. Well, it's nice to get a little respect. Well, I'd love to get to know you, but there's a patch on Wooster that's good this time of day. With a whistle, they summon their tiny flock and saunter into the streets. Didn't actually ask my name, doesn't seem to care. Do we want to see a plague pillar? I guess these events don't seem to be costing any time, so probably we ought to get familiar with the setting. You come upon a great pillar, twisting with clouds and angels. Yeah, let's read the plaque. Erected to commemorate the Great Plague of 1567 and to thank the father and the lady for sparing the entire town. The plaque looks like it's made of gold. The father and the lady are depicted as towering figures, holding hands. The lady holds a chalice and pours her healing waters upon a mass of suffering citizens below. The father holds aloft a torch, cleansing the air. The 2 of them are wreathed in clouds, supposed to symbolize their heavenly powers. But to you, it looks more like miasma, the smoke and smell of sickness. You notice the scavenger is depicted at the foot of the other 2 gods in the form of a raven. It is picking through the corpses of the dead. So this is another of the 5 gods, helping beggars and the lost to survive when all seems hopeless. Yeah, we could use a little bit of that. It's interesting that there's... I guess we'll touch the plaque. You reach out to touch the plaque. It's cool. The metal isn't gold, as it first seems, but brass with gold leaf. A blue coat officer glares at you from the end of the street. You pull back. You leave the pillar and walk into the crowds. What, like I was going to take it? You pass by the street forge, an artist who works with iron. Occasionally, a passerby asks for their services. The streetsmith smiles, studies their profile for a few moments, then yanks a piece of scrap iron from their stock with a pair of forging tongs and lunges at the bellows. Soon the forge is at a roaring heat. They plunge the iron into its heart until it glows orange, then tug it out and begin working it with a hammer. Back and forth it goes, a little shapelier each time. In minutes, the piece is finished. The smith dunks it in their water bucket. He presents the customer, with a caricatured likeness of their own profile rendered in black iron for a few groats. So you can see a little bit there that like the thing changed before I had gotten to that part. Obviously, I'm reading slower than most people will because I'm doing it out loud. But when it changed, it like kind of caught me off guard and distracted me. I lost my place for a second. All right, I mean, they've done a good job, I think, of like sort of establishing the character of the place. So Zai's working. They're not buying scrap from us right now. Well, we could take a swing at working in the factory. I was really hoping we were going to be able to get some work at the workshop. Ambergris and antiques, things we have no ability to get a hold of. Yeah, we can't eat in any way. So I need to make enough money to eat and get solace, and we need to get some more rumors so that we can figure out where to even find solace. All right. Well, begging on street corners is not ideal, certainly, but it is a thing we're capable of. I guess let's see if we can't get factory work, even though that's going to take a little bit of extra effort. 8+, still not ideal. I'm convinced. When he shakes your hand, his grip is like an iron chain. Let's see what you're made of. Okay, I wonder what the difference between the mixed outcome and the real outcome, the good outcome was there. As you join the lineup, Henry waves. Oh, you made it. Nice job. I didn't introduce myself properly. Henry Okoye. He sticks out his hand. Yeah, just call me Grieve, which is a totally sick thing to say to a person. You shake, avoiding the lifting tool strapped to his arm. Behind him, workers stumble home, to approach him arm in arm. You are a new worker? She scowls. Yeah, just joined. The shorter woman turns to her. You can't help noticing scars spread across her cheek and neck like cobwebs. Leave her alone, pet. You've just had a day. The taller woman snorts. Grieve, this is Nazrin and Ruby. They're very dear to me. Oh. How did you all meet? Seems like the polite question to ask. Well, Nazrin and I were on the same shift. Not so many black workers back then. We found much in common. And Ruby? I joined the factory when I was 13, a lifetime ago. Got hurt one day. With a flick of her head, she turns her facial burns away from you. Nasrin here nursed me back, took a shine to me. Ruby smiles shyly. Nasrin touches Ruby's face, nudging a loose strand of hair. A big shine. Okay, I don't feel like I need to inquire about this, but like the only things I'm allowed to say are nosy or rude, so I guess I'll pick nosy. Are y'all together? He nods simply. Yeah, us three. That sounds nice. Like the sun rising over icy mountains, a smile spreads over Nasrin's face. Yes, she whispers. Nice. So, Grieve here just joined the factory, girls. What do you think? Is she up to it? Ruby smiles. We'll give anyone a chance, won't we, love? Nasrin frowns. I managed to get out of that without being too terribly rude. So what's the shift schedule? Oh, there aren't no fixed hours. With workers getting drafted, every factory's a shambles. They won't notice if you miss a shift. Most of us work all through the day, though. We need the groats. And what's management like? Bosses? She snorts. The pay's all right, but it's not enough for what we do, what we risk. This must change. Nasrin, do you have something you want to say to me? Her face softens. Is that concern? This is difficult work. Dangerous. Look at Ruby's face. Please, Pat. The woman needs warning, Azizan. Sorry. Watch. Nazrin moves to a nearby machine and twists a lever. A valve snaps open like a jack-in-the-box. Boiling steam bursts out. Ruby flinches and traces her neck. She gained this scar at age 19, but she must wear it the rest of her life. Be cautious, and have caution for your neighbor. Here we all watch each other's backs. What is Azizam? A term of affection meaning beloved. Something we're familiar with already. Not a foreign language to us. Yeah, I'll watch out for everyone. This is something that would have been drilled into me, right? Even if it hadn't been by engineering work, then by the time on the front lines. Good, she nods. The whistle blows. Well, we should be getting back. Nice to meet you, Grieve, she waves. See you on the line. Okay, so unfortunately that took all of our daytime time. But... Okay, we can sneak in here and steal spare parts. These are highly dangerous actions reliant on skills we do not have, and jeopardizing the only position we kind of have in this whole damn world. So I feel like, maybe we're not going to be doing so much of that. Wandering the streets, you find yourself drawn to the river and a pale blue glow on the horizon. As you draw closer, you realize these are the plasm yards. Your throat goes tight. You stumble. Alright, just take a breath, just calm down. You force air into your lungs and stumble against the wall. For moments or hours, there is only the wall and your breath and the crackle of plasm in the distance. Oh, easy there, foundling. Oh, where did you come from? You've been choking there for a minute or two. You didn't notice me. You shake your head. He tuts. Oh, you almost entered the towers of hell. No one can face that and stay whole. He gestures to the industrial landscape before you. The yards, where the bodies of the dead become fuel for the living. I don't know if it is blasphemous. I wish that I had a better sense of whether I was speaking literally here. I guess I'll say where I nearly met my end. True. Things could have gone quite different. The brother gathers himself and struts forward. Foundling, listen. This place broke you. You'll have to face it again if you're to heal. He nods to the guard on duty and passes over a pouch of money. The guard opens the gate. As you walk through, the man claps a hand on your shoulder. I don't get any ideas. I'm only doing this because the Watcher sat with my daughter when she lay dying. This gate don't open for just anyone. I don't want to do this. Oh, God. Facing your demons. Okay. I was going to try to make food for money. Wait, no, the other way around. I was going to try not to starve to death. I'm not saying that you're wrong, that this doesn't need to happen or anything. The thing is, this could help with the nightmares, right? If we can sort of like get past some amount of what happened. There's no saying for sure, obviously. But if we can lower the amount of pain, all right. Let's study the storage tanks. This feels to me like a place to start with our knowledge and everything. Made of steel and glass, these tanks glow eerily. The oil within drifts as if animated by some internal breeze. Oh, really? So the result is stress on a failure anyway. I'm just going to go ahead and push myself. There we go. To avoid that stress. We'll replace that stress with a different stress. Or actually, it looks like you take the first outcome anyway, and then... So pushing yourself is really just a time-saving measure. It's not about avoiding penalties. That's bad news. You stand mesmerized by the oil's motion. Out of all this horror, something eerie, but strangely beautiful. Okay. If you say so. Let's just walk the machine backwards here. Inside this sparking tower, plasmic energies are unleashed on the mass of bodies. The science is still not fully understood. The sparks are intimidating, booming off the tower's dome. Eventually, they seem more like thunderclaps, or a great horse stamping the sky. Like a thunder horse. Alright, the intake ramp. Whoops. Let me do that. Bodies are dumped into a chute and slide down into a great vat. This was where you barely survived. And this has got to be the part we approach last, right? We have to have walked it from the side where we can be kind of like, we can be sort of abstractly interested over to the part that holds the real terror for us. Fingers crossed. Okay. They are just bodies. The bodies of sons, daughters, lovers, hundreds of them. You feel a great sadness. You stumble back to the central yard, your boots slipping on plasmic runoff. So, how was it? Why did you bring me here? This place is a horror show. Fair enough. Redchick shakes his head. But it's your horror show now. You'll carry this with you. But I hope today has helped you come to terms with that a bit. Just wait. Unslinging his rain chalice, he uncorks his leather flask and splashes some water into it. When the dead are ready to move on, a brother gives them rainwater, the lady's tears. He holds the chalice to your lips. His eyes flash. Drink, and let her ease your pain. So here's a question. I think this is probably a good time to start figuring this out. Was our character religious prior to being drafted? And did we take on religion? Have we taken on religion since, either during the actual fighting or, because it is known to happen. It is. I don't want to say like take on religion since like that's like the same as being raised in it, and often people who suddenly decide that they believe in prayer as a result of immediate traumatic circumstances, they don't necessarily stick with it so devoutly afterward. But we also don't have really like a good sense of like in this world how is faith. The fact that we have the fact that we have the option of saying keep your mystic rituals does suggest to us that the faith is viewed as kind of a non-scientific or anti-scientific thing. So perhaps we would have had some friction with it before. But then you get out there in what sounds like a kind of a World War I, like a more violent World War I. It's hard to face that. Yeah, I don't know. I think maybe you start casting about in your desperation. I think perhaps we are open to whatever might save us at this moment. The silver is cold against your lips. The water tastes metallic. We lost the stress. Something inside you relaxes just a bit. I'm sorry, I can't help more, Foundling. The two of you walk toward the gate. You know, it's not nothing. You helped. What else can I ask for? You find Red Chick sitting in the sanctuary's common area. Afraid I've got to leave for now. I wanted to give you something, though. He pulls a small leather purse from the folds of his cloak. Oh, hey, solace. Now, this solace will quiet your mind. You're going to need it sooner or later. I only have enough for one dose, so find another source soon. You may not want to turn to drugs. It's understandable. But right now you need something to get you through the terrors. Why have you helped me? You've used up favors for me and done so much. The lady commands us to help the needy, and she's my boss. I'll be seeing you, Foundling. Gods be with you. He grabs your hand, shakes it, and walks out. Okay, we are marked as having survived. Each time you complete an aim, you gain a growth point. To spend them, open your skills window. So, obviously, we have one growth point that's going to give us a skill right away. It's pretty hard not to want to take that one. It is worth noting that it is a skill point in lieu of growth. Like, we don't actually go up a point. But what does the skill do? You can sell parts and devices at the Arclight. When creating a part or device, a total success has a chance of reducing stress. Well, those both seem lovely. Do I get to pick one, or does it give me... I do get to pick one. Okay. So, you know what? Hold on. Can I back up? I don't want to choose yet. Ah, damn it. I clicked and now we're not allowed to back up. I think the question for me here is, how much money do we make working at the factory? Pardon me. Because if the money we make working at the factory is decent, then this is kind of superfluous, and I would much rather be taking on an extra way of reducing stress, right? If the money we make at the factory is considerably less than the amount we get from selling parts and devices, then obviously that's a way to go. And one assumes that it probably is, otherwise Artisan wouldn't be here. But, you know, you can't always assume that the developers have the same thoughts about design and balance that you do. These are both sort of ways to stress reduction, right? Because making more money means more easily buying solace. As long as we can afford it and we don't have our supplies disrupted. Maybe having a way of dealing with solace that's not reliant on that is more important. I'm going to take Tinkerer. Hopefully that's not foolishness. Okay. And then we have one action left, and I should probably try to make some money. We can try to... install a plasm tap. We could siphon some off from an unguarded pipe. That's an interesting idea. Probably fairly valuable. I think our fear would likely keep that from seeming like a great option. So we can just try to pick pockets, but we don't have time to prepare. We should just mingle at the tavern and see if we can't figure out where the solace is coming from. Geez, I need an 8+ to not get a bad failure. That is a little rough. Without the ability to to prepare for social situations. You know what? I'm going to take the swing. A failure is probably not that bad, right? A dullard's tongue is like a split rope, limp and useless. Yeah, so we don't really pay anything. It just doesn't. We don't get any rewards. All right. Well, back to Sanctuary. Oh, Solace will reduce your stress all the way to 0. But each time you take it, it becomes a little less effective. So let's sleep first then. Take whatever nightmares we're potentially going to take, and then hit the Solace in the morning. Okay. Troubled sleep. You sleep fitfully, haunted by nightmares, and wake in a cold sweat, but at least that's an improvement. Stomach is rumbling. The health is getting bad. Alright. You ease yourself into a sitting position and ease the needle in. Inch by inch, you unclench. The jangle of metal and spite inside you eases. It's possible that I should have waited an entire extra day and really maximized the loss, but I need my dice to work today because we have to get some fucking food. A debris shrine. At the end of a twisting alleyway, you find a handful of crows pecking at birdseed scattered on the cobbles. Amid the birds is a little pile of rubbish. Sticks, pebbles, bits of broken glass. The crows flutter to the rooftops as you approach. The pieces are tied into a pyramid shape with frayed string and straps of cloth. In the center of the pyramid is a folded piece of paper weighted with a stone. Huh. I don't want to disrupt whoever's ritual to the scavenger this is. I'm very curious, but I do think that this is a ritual to the scavenger, and I want to be, I guess, from a game design perspective, this is probably not the kind of thing you will be seriously punished for. And I bet that if there is any kind of negative outcome here, it will end in us learning more about the scavenger and perhaps how to perform a little ritual ourselves. And maybe I'm feeling vulnerable to that. You take it and unfold it. At the bottom is a small smear of blood. It begins, "To the merciful scavenger." Keep reading. "My 3 sisters and I are starving. Please find us some food or a job. And if you do, I will bring more seed. Your loyal worshiper, Gracie." From above you, the crows caw maniacally. 2 hop into the street and start pecking at your ankles. You toss the prayer back into the pile and hurry back to the main crossroads. Yeah, times are bad for everybody, and unfortunately, we're not going to be able to help with anybody else's mask until we secure our own here, I think. Okay, and this is an endure check, working the line, so it's dangerous, but also we're good at it. Suffering, negative outcome. So let's go ahead and do a prepare and then act. Wow, I cannot catch a break here. Alright, so this would deplete our energy by 1. We don't have any energy, so it is what it is. That's going to add some discontent to our bosses, but it's also 5 groat. I'm going to accept it. And then I'm going to do it again. I'm going to push myself this time, maybe. So no, we don't get the first result, too. Okay. Your bolts slam home. Your muscles and wrench synchronize. Your line neighbors gossip as they heave. So you make the same amount of money on a real success, but you get a rumor, and also the discontent still builds up. I was reading that as our boss's discontent with us, but it must be our discontent with the work. Well, you're in the flow of the work now. You glance at your neighbor. You've been placed next to Ruby. How long did you say you'd been doing this? She sways on her feet. Ruby? Ruby starts and snatches her hands to her sides. What's that? Are you all right? Triple shift. It's okay, though. I've gone without sleep before. It's fine. You watch yourself, all right? She snorts and gets back to work. Well, I don't like that very much. Obviously, this would be a great time to go buy some food. Okay. All right. We're not going to die during the night from hunger. Hooray. And we've found a rumor now, so let's see if we can locate a solace den for ourselves. The surest way to lower stress is solace. Surely someone must know where to find some. These establishments don't exactly advertise, but putting some hearsay together must be toward the northeast. Okay, let us... Alright, I was curious if there was anything else to be found there. Okay, we can act around. It's a nice low intuit check. Let me try it without prep. Jeez. You wander deep in the slums. Where is this place? Okay, well, preparing was not going to help on a snake eyes. Ah, bloody hell. Okay, mixed outcome, it turns out, is good enough. I think what I've got to get used to interpreting mixed outcome as success on checks that don't have the warning. This part of town is centuries old. Hovels built on hovels. Workhouses built on ancient inns. You come to a disused business. You check the address again. This is the place. Try to peer through the windows a bit. You stare through the window panes, shading the glass with your hand. Dim forms swim inside. Old furniture. Something stirs. Suddenly, the door snaps open. A bent old woman stands in the doorway. "Can I help you?" she sneers. "I'm looking for solace." "I'm just back from the war, and..." "I don't want to hear it. We don't have none of that stuff here anyway. And even if we did, the dealers would have to vet you." Vet me how? This isn't so exclusive, is it? "I've said enough." She steps back into the doorway. "The dealers come round every few days." She grins viciously. "And they're always happy to meet new clients face to face. Until then, you'll just have to get by." She pushes the door too. The latch clicks. Okay, so I guess we'll have to come back every day until they arrive. It looks like it'll just be tomorrow. The church is as wide as a small dwelling, but towers over the other roofs nearby. The spires are like Gothic dragon scales, the windows like scalpel wounds. Each tower is lined with cast iron, each brick studded with metal. This place was forged as much as it was constructed. Let's see if it's open. You step over the threshold. The sounds of the city disappear. Ahead of you is an immense anvil in place of an altar. Beyond it sits a statue of the smith in bronze. One of the five gods, master of creation, manufacturing, and labor. His apron flaps in an imagined furnace breeze. His hammer is raised, his eyes focused, intent on some unseen work. Well, no, that's not right. His work is all around you. Certainly not unseen. You remember the smith is the force that binds and builds. It was he who fashioned mankind and all the world's mammals. The silence is broken by a clang. You see a worshipper at a stamping press. They pick up a coin, admire it, and kiss it. I suppose we can afford to put a coin in the press. Losing a groat means we still get enough money to eat food off of a single factory shift. You put the coin in the slot and throw the lever. It comes out stamped with the smith's hammer. You pocket it. It feels like a little of your burden has been lifted. You turn from the chapel of the smith. And you're glad of his help. I think the religion is sort of like taking root here as a thing that is offering us real material benefits. As you walk away, you jingle the coin in your pocket. And then immediately get mugged. So, we could try to go gather parts. Maybe start thinking about trying to install a plasma tap or whatever, right? What does it take? It takes 3 parts to craft it takes 3 scrap to craft a machine part. And we are We have 1, right? Because we had to gather 4 to give her 3. So let's prepare. Only gives me 8 plus success. I am a little worried about dying, if I'm honest. I don't really want to do anything that's going to put me in a position where I could be killed by a single point of damage, given what tomorrow is going to look like at the factory, you know? Certainly not entering a prize fight. That seems unwise. We can try. I'm going to try to just mingle with the locals. We no longer need rumors, but I'm very curious what's going to happen here if we can sort of become a known face. Yeesh. This dullard's tongue is like a split rope. You know what? I'm gonna go ahead and our stress is nice and low. We can take a harder swing at things. All right. Let us go and rest, and unfortunately, this is the time. Ooh. You barely get a wink of sleep. When you close your eyes, you see the faces of your dead comrades. And here fills this clock. You're awoken by a knock at the shelter door. An officer stands at the threshold, dressed for full trench warfare. We're looking for this individual. He hands the shelter master a photograph. I've never seen him. The gas mask begins to turn in your direction, and I duck out of sight. You hear the creak of leather. Private Grieve has been absent without leave for several days. I'm not confronting anybody. I'm going to try and run and hide here. You hold your breath, trying to stay perfectly still. The wood beneath your foot creaks. You hear footsteps. Well, I can't very well run. I don't even have my new leg yet. But I have 2 health. If I run, I'm getting caught. If I run, I'm getting caught. I think that's all there is to that. Confront him. You step out. All right, here I am. You can tell me yourself. Private, attention! Your body obeys reflexively. Your arms and legs lock together. You're Private Grieve. I am. Pointedly not saying sir. The mask rounds on you. The correct response is just sir. You have been absent without leave for several days, absconding on a lich barge. No, I was dead. The officer draws his pistol. All soldiers of the Empire must make a choice: to live and fight for the fatherland, or die so our bones fuel its war machines. He cocks the hammer and levels it at your forehead. Make your choice. How do we get out of this? I mean, physically, I'm in no state to fight this dude, right? If I say you've made your point, what's he going to do? Is he going to haul me down there himself? Or is he going to say, report, like, maybe I'll have another chance to disappear? He'd have to be foolish to give me one. I'm not going to try to, mean mug him. Let's just say, all right, you've made your point. Slowly, pushing the hammer closed again, he holsters the gun. Report to the War Office in 4 days' time. The Army still has use of you. And I just tell him I will, because what other choice do we have? I'll be there, sir. The mask lingers on you for a moment, then turns away. He walks out, slamming the door so hard the hinges loosen. You won't go. Okay, wanted level is 20. You need help. I could use some help. We try to find the priest. On our way to work, you pass by the workshop and from over the wall comes the sound of metalworking and the grinding of scrap on scrap. Glancing through the gate, you see an open yard filled with all manner of engineering tools, but at the center is a large stone plinth. On the plinth is some kind of sculpture, pieces of metal twisted and shaped into some kind of design. You gaze at it for a moment. Is it some kind of human figure? I see, like, right, a helmet here, and then that's a knee, and that's a knee. Some human figure, you wonder? You stare at the strange object. Interesting, isn't it? I think it's Boone's best work. What does it remind you of? You study the piece. The war and all its barbs. She nods. It got rotated in last week. It'll be here for another 3 months at least. Rotated? Aye. The spot's reserved for machinist sculpture. Every artist gets a turn. Well, I've got to get back to it, but enjoy it as long as you please. She hurries off, leaving you in the sculpture. Oh, right. So, yeah, Zai's my foot. I should get my foot. You sit at the bar. Zai puts down the glass she was buffing and reaches below the bar. She brings up a mechanical marvel, the foot of some sleek skeletal creature, fashioned in steel. Wordlessly, you roll up your trouser leg. She comes around the bar and helps you fit it. Now there's gyros, so it swings a little when you take a step. Padding, obviously, for the ankle. You won't be running any marathons, but you'll be able to walk on it. Maybe jog. Thank you so much. It doesn't seem enough. She nods. And you just remember I did you a favor. When you're almost out the door, she calls out. Actually, you know what? Come get a drink here sometime. We could use the extra coin. Okay, that seems very doable. When you return to the Solace Den, the windows are open and a guard is posted on the door. His muscles ripple over his chest like pylons. Half his face is stretched and scarred. Was he burned or brutally hurt? Are you the dealers? Yeah, you know, with almost any other character I've ever played in anything, I think I would avoid this kind of over-obvious introduction, but this might be exactly where we're at. He shakes his head. No, I'm waiting for my fix. You? Yeah, I'm here to meet the people in charge. Oh, why is that? I need the solace. Yeah, I get it. A lot of folks are on it. Tough days. Yeah, I'm just back from the war. War rattles you up inside. And this is the only solace, eh? He grins. He leans over, resting his massive hand on the door jamb. Wow, just between you and me, I've got a side gig. The Bluecoats asked me to keep an eye on this place. You know, quiet like. Are you sure you should be telling me that? Yeah, you're a sharp one. Fact is, I'm getting nowhere fast. Their lips are sewn shut. So I was thinking, you learn anything about this place, you tell me, all right? Might be a few groats in it. Yeah, I'll think about it. Feels like the kind of thing that might get you killed. Now, come on, friend. We're all friends here. What do you say? I mean, what I say, if pushed, is all right, without necessarily intending to do anything. Yeah, all right. I learn anything, I'll let you know. How will I find you? Oh, I'll find you, he says flatly. His tone has suddenly shifted. A shiver goes down your spine. He unfolds himself from the doorway like a combine harvester reversing. That's evocative. Well, I think they're ready for you. Okay. You head inside. The stink of solace is stronger. You feel a little lightheaded. Near the door is a battered desk and chair. Beyond lies a lounge or viewing room filled with trashed seating. A hole has been knocked in the far wall. Beyond, you see grimy tiles and medical tables. Let's glance at the desk. The desk is scratched. One corner has a cluster of tacks and nails hammered into it. What about the viewing room? You look around the viewing room. People lie insensible to the right and left. What was this place once? A small church? A doctor's surgery? You hear a step behind you. Well, it used to be a mortuary. We did the bodies in the back. He gestures to the desk. Welcome to my office. He lumbers past you and sits in the chair. It creaks ominously. I can't stand the stink of you losers, but it's worth it to keep an eye on your thieving mitts. He extends a meaty hand across the desk. Dresden Knox, head of the lich dealers. So what the hell were you talking about outside? You're no informant. Oh, that was a test. So what was all that about wanting me to sell this place's secrets? It was a test. It's a weird question, but it's a bit of an act. I like to get to know the clientele before I divulge anything. You know, Dredgeport's full of factions and plots. Pays to stay informed. And you do well to remember that. Information is power here. People pay for secrets and rumors. And if you can put together some real intel, a proper tip-off, we'll pay a pretty penny. You consider a new aim. Do that thing. But that test I gave you, his face darkens. You failed. We're big on secrecy here. You don't get a lick of solace until I can trust you. No, hold on a second. The premise of this test, working the way it does, is that the person he's asking was telling him the truth when they said they would sell, secrets to the cops. But why would you assume that anybody would mean that? Right? Like, anybody in that situation is going to try to minimize the chance of conflict with a stranger, especially a stranger who looks like they might be armed, right? That doesn't mean any of them would actually talk to the police. This is dumb. This guy's kind of dumb. I guess you don't end up in this line of work by being a genius, but okay, but you can trust me. I was just trying to lead you on. Oh, I can trust you, can I? Suddenly, his hands are across the deck, digging into your shirt. He slams your head on the desk. Your cheek is right next to a rusty-looking nail driven into the desktop. Get off me! Trust is about one thing. Power. He drags your face across the surface. Tacks and nails tear into your skin. You asshole. He throws you away. Battered and bloody, you reel backwards. You'll remember this. Remember what I can do to you, druggie. Oh, I'll remember. I know. Now, if you're willing to take that lesson to heart, I'm willing to sell you solace. So let's talk business. Fine, you've got solace and I need it. Solace is a gift, soldier. It gives peace to the troubled and groats to my pocket. I'll take your money with a smile. He grins darkly. You'll even get the newcomer special, a discount to slide you in easy like. He adjusts his belt buckles and heads for the door. Oh, and if you need a sawbones, one of our customers is a doctor. He's here most days. You talk to him if you need fixing up. Sure. When you want to buy that solace, just let us know. Druggie. He laughs. Yeah, it felt like success. So, visit the Sawbones is 13 groats. Buying solace is 25. And we got some other stuff we can sell here. Hard to know exactly what the value of that is, though. I think I'm inclined to take a point of endure. Because we're about to go back to the factory and start work for the day, right? Yeah, that's an endure test, so obviously enduring helps here. It's going to help with the doctor. It's going to help with a lot of things. Let's see if we can locate the priest, though, since we have an event for it. Wandering the poor quarter, you spot Brother Redcheck talking to a group of young men loitering on the corner and a middle-aged couple. An argument seems about to break out. Red Shek addresses the men one by one. Eventually, one throws up his hands and they disperse. Crisis averted. The Davies got into a spat with the rougher element. I had to smooth things over. How's you? The recruiters know I survived. He tuts. Dangerous men. What are they planning? Well, I think they're going to round me up is what they're planning. If I don't present myself at the recruitment office in a few days. All right, hold. He puts a hand on your shoulder. Just take a moment. By the lady. He glowers. Well, you're not the first. Once their deadline passes, they'll come for you at the sanctuary. So find someplace else to sleep. And you'll need forged papers. Might help you stay one step ahead. I happen to know a forger. Fallen on hard times, had to relocate to the sewers. But they do good work. They've helped a dozen of my flock escape the arm of the law. Okay, thank you. The hookup will be invaluable. No, it's no trouble. We Watchers weren't meant to do anything. We Watchers weren't meant to do nothing but watch, if you take my meaning. Watcher and also Watcher asterisk. Well, we got to make the money for food first, right? Critically important. Let's spend that point in Endure, like I said. Get better at the things that are going to get us through life. We're going to prepare here because we really need to not flub this. 72% chance. All right. So that gets us food. Now we could just work again. Have a little bit extra. I think that's what I'm going to do. Okay. And we would absolutely take stress rerolls on this stuff if we had to. So that gets us some rumors. It also fills us with discontent. An hour before the shift ends, Ruby is swaying on her feet again. I'm going to nudge her. You nudge her awake. She starts and mutters to herself. Come on, Ruby. One more shift. Ruby, maybe take a break, please? She swats you away. Take a break. Take a hike, she murmurs. You sigh and turn back to your work. Somebody jostles your arm. Try to steady yourself. So what I don't want to do is any, I wish I had a better sense of what exactly either of these mean. Because what I don't want to do is any, big motions. When Ruby woke up, she, slapped her arms to her sides immediately. That's the smart thing to do here. I'm going to try to steady myself. Oh, no. I don't want to put a hand out. Ah! You overbalance and put a hand out to steady yourself. A valve snaps on your hand like a bear trap. Ruby bumps into another worker. There's a spray of blood and a scream. He staggers back, clutching his hand. Oh, fuck, Alf! The line stops. You hear footsteps running. I have lost health and I have gained stress. And I'm at 0 health, and that's very bad. I'm going to check on Ruby first, obviously. Ruby's checking herself over, but seems unhurt. Henry pushes through the crowd and grabs her. Tell me you're all right. I'm fine. It's Alf. Oh, Smith, my fucking arm! The skin of his arm has been ripped off. Blood is seeping to the surface. Henry locks eyes with 2 workers. You 2, get him to a Sawbones. They get him up and rush him out of the factory. May the Smith watch over him. Oh, gods, Alf. Look, you weren't to blame, love. He turns to you. I saw you try to help Ruby. Thank you. This place is killing us. He runs a hand up and down one arm. His tattoos peek through his clenched fingers. So, what can we do about it, though? He sizes you up. Well, some say we should stand together, form a union. And who's this mysterious some? I can't say, but they've got a point, no? Okay, so obviously I'm pretty pro-union in real life. Pretty is understating it. How would our character feel about this? This is a thing that's illegal. It's 0 surprise, right? for that to be a thing that's illegal in this setting. So the question is, like, our character maybe, before the war, it's possible that we had even some, like, modicum of respect for the way things are done officially or whatever. But we certainly have less of that now. But maybe we're still a little uncertain. I'm going to say, what good would that do? Well, they say we should strike, hit the bosses in their pockets. Personally, I think it's a quick way to get fired. He shakes his head. It's all too much. I mean, that makes sense, though. I think they're right. Well, I hear they meet at the Wrangler, a pub near the Plasm Yards. He turns back to work. Look, go there or don't, that's your business. But they're right about one thing. Something's got to change around here. Something breaks inside you. Your nerves shriek. Intuit is wounded. Okay, I'm living here. I'm trying to get through it. So that's bumped us up to 4. Is there a way to unwound my Intuit, I wonder? Okay, rest of your lodgings. Well, I think I'm maybe going to go and attend one of those workers' gatherings that I've heard so much about recently. The Wrangler is a cramped pub in a rough part of town. In the distance, you hear the crack of a pistol. Inside, exhausted workers slump around rough tables. Suddenly, there's another shot from directly upstairs. I do not go toward it myself. Ask the barman what's happening. What's going on up there? Hey, they don't make trouble, I don't ask questions. And if you don't know, maybe you shouldn't ask. And then I climb the stairs behind the bar. I'm not allowed to not do that. That's fucking crazy. You climb the creaking stairs. At the top is a door. You push it open. The noise hits you. Cheers, singing, celebration. And in the center of the room is a young woman holding her ears. The crowd are hugging her and cheering. Off to one side stand Henry and Nazrin, a revolver hanging from the woman's hand. Grieve, you came. What is all this? A celebration. Evie just joined, paid up and sworn in. You don't seem thrilled. He sighs. This is Nazrin's thing, really. Me, I'm... never mind. You're all celebrating? A man was hurt today. We have to keep our spirits up somehow. We all mourn Alf. He was a good man. But best way we can honor him is to organize. Grieve, you here to join? We need bodies. I mean, how is the injured man, Alf? He didn't make it. But do not blame Ruby. When factory is so unsafe, such accidents are not the fault of one worker. No, absolutely, I don't blame her. That would be crazy. Of all the people to blame in this, how would it be Ruby's fault? Nazrin smiles. Then you're halfway to Union already. I mean, isn't this dangerous? Well, it's illegal. The Bluecoats hate unions, and strikes get violent more often than not. So, she shrugs, it's not so bad compared to factory. Okay, come on, love, don't sugarcoat it. This is serious. She scoffs. I mean, how many members do you have? Well, about 1/3 of the factory. It's not enough. Have a heart. She beats a fist on her chest. We get more, and we win. Yeah, I mean, it makes sense, right? Like, again, this is like, just pragmatically, it makes sense. The math makes sense. But maybe the character is still a little unsure. So why do we need a union? Nazrin's gaze darkens. You saw what happened with Ruby. Alone, we cannot fight. The hope is, together, we can force the bosses to come to the table. Better pay, safer conditions, if they don't fire us all first. No, I mean, yeah, we got to fight back, right? I want to join. Enough is enough. Henry nods. You pay 10 groats per month. Union dues. Whew, I don't have that much on me. Or rather, I do, but if I pay you that, I'll starve tonight. If I can start paying tomorrow, we're all set. If we paid now, we'd be back down to 2. We could go pickpocketing and maybe still make dinner tonight. You know what? I'm gonna go ahead and go for it. Maybe not. Say I don't have that much on me. If I can just pay later, you can pay some other time. But do not wait too long. We all must stand together. Yeah, I need it, like tomorrow would be so much better. You head back downstairs and into the street. Okay, because like I really do need to make sure I eat. It's like very important. All right, passable, nourishing. And now we don't need to have food tomorrow. We'll only go down to 1 energy. So that's, and we'll be in a good place money-wise. I want to keep mingling with the locals because I want to earn the Tapster's trust. But I'm not really doing a very good job so far. Maybe we should just leave it to actual food buying checks. So we know about the sewers, where we can apparently explore and find a spot to recuperate and all the good stuff here. Evade animals. The deeper tunnels house odd creatures, twisted by plasmic runoff. There are recruiters circling. But we need, like the sewers, I guess, are the place that we're going to hide from them. I do want to gather more scrap. All right, I'm going to prepare and try to pull some scrap here. Excellent news. Now, an engineering 9 check. All right. In a few hours, you have a finely worked part, and you didn't even need all that scrap. Hey, that's cool. And now with the machine part, we can maybe, steal some plasm or something. Turn our lack of fear of the plasm yards to our benefit immediately. There's no reason not to sleep here, right? Like we can, for the moment at least. We have a 7+ here, and it's, worse there. All right. What it lacks in comfort, it makes up for in fleas, but at least it's not sleeping in a sewer. All right, mixed outcome. Just some nightmares. The watch are closing in. Something to be wary of. All right, we have established something of a little bit of a rhythm here. Hopefully, one that we can take advantage of in the near future. I don't really have a good sense of a medium-term goal yet. I'm still trying to stabilize, but we're getting there, right? We're more often than not having the money for food. Our health is not the best it's ever been, but it's certainly not, like desperate. We're not redlining all the time. And when you come back next time, we're going to find a way to turn all of this good fortune into the greatest factory union this world has ever known, which it sounds like is probably not a very high bar to clear. I will see you then.